You're listening to They Shoot Films with Ken Mercer and F.T. Kosempa.
Hey there, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of They Shoot Films, the podcast where we talk about the films that matter. Actually, we got a legal note from our legal counsel, Truth in Advertising. It's the podcast where we attempt to talk about the films that we think matter. My name is Ken Mercer, and I'm here, as always, with the great F.T. Kosempa. F.T., how are you doing?
I'm attempting to say I'm well. How you doing, Ken?
I am, should I just say, oh, great, or honest answer?
Honest answer, man. That's our policy number 17 or whatever.
Yes, it's the They Shoot Films. Honesty is the best policy.
Only policy.
Yes. Yeah, to be honest with you, I'm and I hate to bring this up at this late juncture, I'm thinking of giving up on the podcast, FT.
Really? Why?
I don't see a lot of money here.
I was waiting for which line you're going to pull out of here. I knew it.
I kind of feel like I'm the Llewyn Davis of podcasting. No, strike that. I feel like we're the Timlin and Davis of podcasting at this point.
I jump off. I'm a dumbbell,
Yeah. No, don't off yourself.
Don't even joke about that.
Don't off yourself, FT, because then I will literally be like Llewyn without you. Sorry, you said jump off. What would you say? Jump off
the George Washington Bridge.
Yes. Now, it's funny you bring that up. I was going to talk about that later, but since you bring it up. So in the film, and by the way, we're here to discuss the 2013 film written and directed and produced and edited by the Coen brothers, Inside Llewyn Davis. In that film, there's a scene, and I think that's what FT may be alluding to here, where Roland Turner is played by John Goodman, lambasts Llewyn Davis because his partner jumped off the George Washington Bridge.
Yes.
Solo act?
Yeah, now.
Now? Used to what? Work with a cat? Every time he'd play a C major, he'd puke a hairball?
I used to have a partner.
What happened?
Threw himself off the George Washington Bridge.
Well, shit, I don't blame him. I couldn't take it either, having to play Jimmy Crack Corn every night. Oh, pardon me for saying so. That's pretty fucking stupid, isn't it? George Washington Bridge. You throw yourself off the Brooklyn Bridge, traditionally. George Washington Bridge. Who does that? What is he, a dumbbell?
Not really.
You jump off the Brooklyn Bridge traditionally. Yeah.
Yes.
What kind of idiot would jump off the dumbbell would jump off the George Washington Bridge? Who does that?
Right. And what's interesting is that where that comes that late in the film, that disclosure, which is interesting. It's almost more than halfway, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Okay, well, I think it's interesting for another reason. And by the way, we are a bi-coastal podcast. FT broadcasts from his studio in the Catskill Mountains of New York State. No?
Shawangunk Mountains, outside in the Valley of Wachkill.
Yeah, near Woodstock, New York. I'm here in Sonoma County, California. So it's good to have FT to add some informational value to this podcast. Is that true? Is that true, FT, that traditionally you would commit suicide off the Brooklyn Bridge and people do not commit suicide off the George Washington Bridge, since you're a New Yorker?
According to my statistics, and since I'm actually closer to New Paltz, I don't know, Ken. I do know that a local bridge here in Kingston is up there in the top three.
Top three for New York State.
Top three for New York State for people jumping off close by.
Okay,
but I think it is the Brooklyn Bridge is traditionally the one. It's easier to get,
FT, you've accused me of relishing when you're wrong, which is not true. I cry inside each time you're wrong, and you're once again wrong.
Well, you looked this up?
Yeah, of course I looked it up. That's our job here.
What I do, what I say. You set me up.
So what's interesting, and we'll be talking about this more, we should say at the outset, the Coen brothers, nothing is accidental in their films. Not a word is out of play, and we'll talk about the process a little more as we go along. But they're also great pranksters.
Yes.
So this bit in the film with Roland Turner saying that is crazy because people jump off the George Washington Bridge. I have an article from 2015, so not current at this time, which said that every 3.5 days someone attempts suicide off the George Washington Bridge. It is one of the most popular suicide spots in the world, is the George Washington Bridge. So I think the whole thing is a little bit of a Coen brothers prank.
Joke, yeah.
Yeah, and the joke is, of course, the thing your mom drilled into your head when you're growing up. If your friend Johnny jumped off the Brooklyn Bridge, would you jump off it too? So
no, and you're right. Yeah. And I was wrong because really the cagey part, actually the physical cage around the roadway is the Brooklyn Bridge, and I forgot about that. Right, the George Washington's much taller. What's number 2? Golden Gate. Where does that come in?
Golden Gate Bridge is number 1 in the U.S. And,
in the U.S.
I think in the world there's a spot in China that I think is number 1 in the world. Great tourist destination for all suicide. Sorry, I should say the crazy thing is, so yes, you asked me, FT, and you're right to ask it. You said,
"Thank you."
Did you research this? and it was difficult to research on Google. Because every time I put in, what's a more popular suicide spot, George Washington, I got back this big warning. If you're thinking of suicide, and I get these suicide hotline numbers, and I called them and I said, hey, what's the more popular bridge? Than that? We don't have that information. We're so it was kind of crazy. But
right, as if somebody would say, like, I want to kill myself. So where's the popular spot to go?
So, FT, why do you think the Golden Gate Bridge is such a popular suicide spot? There is an answer to that question. Let's see if you can get it.
I have no idea. The orange drives people.
Oh, dude! Like I said, I cry inside every time you get in. And when I ask the question, I'm like, I hope he doesn't say orange. I hope he doesn't say orange.
They're blinded by the orange. Actually, it's an energy color, right?
Yeah. No, it's the theory is that there's a saying in Alcoholics Anonymous. FT, you're a teetotaler, so you should know this one. And the saying,
former boozer.
The saying is, you can't run away from your problems. Wherever you go, your problems are there. So people will move west, to escape their, the dream of California. They move west, a whole new life. And then they discover their new life is much like their old life. At which point there's no further west to go than the ocean at that point, and they throw themselves off the Golden Gate Bridge.
Why not the Oakland Bridge?
Because it's not the Golden Gate Bridge is farther west. The Oakland Bridge is not on the ocean.
It's east.
It's in Oakland. Yeah.
Right. Oh my God.
Sorry, FT, and I know there'll be don't worry, because there's going to be more questions for you to answer throughout this podcast. Oh boy. And I think your batting average should improve. You're always traditionally a slow starter. Although last week you were on fire.
Fire.
Speaking, so
last month,
as I said from last month. Sorry, we're a monthly podcast.
Yeah.
This is Inside Llewyn Davis from 2013, which shocked me when I saw it was from. I did not realize it was so
that long
old.
ago.
Did you, FT?
No, I didn't. I kept thinking it was like 18, 19.
So to paraphrase a line from last episode's film, which was, of course, Dazed and Confused, paraphrasing the line, how can I paraphrase?
If I could remember the line.
No, sorry. Hey, don't make fun of my memory or I'll come after you big time. Paraphrase the line from Dazed and Confused.
Take 2.
I keep getting older, but the films stay the same age.
That was a good one. You worked that one too. Good job, man. You're on fire.
FT, here's a question for you.
Okay.
Ready? All right. get into your stance.
My breath.
This is the third music film we've covered, if you consider this a music film, which I do, on They Shoot Films. FT, please name the other two films dealing with music that we've already covered here on They Shoot Films.
Almost Famous.
Almost Famous. By
somebody.
Sorry, you can't. Oh man, who is it? Who wrote and directed that?
Cameron
Crowe. Thank you, Cameron Crowe.
Yeah.
Thank you. We can tell. I can see what kinds of episode. Welcome to the Memory Challenge podcast.
What'd you say?
Yeah.
What's the other?
Yeah,
movie?
so you're right. Almost Famous.
Yes.
Yes, good one, FT.
Right, hit me with the other one.
No, it's your question.
No, but I can't. It's
Whiplash.
The drumming. Yeah,
which has a lot more, I think, in common with this film than Almost Famous does in terms of a film about. And we're going to discuss really what the theme of this film is about. But Whiplash is another film where it's questioning. Is it worth it to have a career in the arts, in the music business? Why don't we move on, FT? One of the most popular elements of the show, according to recent, I got the focus group data back, the recent focus group data back from They Shoot Films, and I can read
your daughter.
No, we hired a research company, and
right.
Oh, okay. I don't know if I should read this. So one of the questions was, and sorry, it wasn't focus groups; it was quantitative research. The first question, one of the questions was, do you like the podcast They Shoot Films? 100% said no. But the next question was, if you had to pick one aspect of They Shoot Films that you liked, what would it be? And the answer was the origins. The origin stories.
Jesus. I thought you said going to say how FT represents the audience perfectly.
No, it's
not knowing shit.
The audience, who apparently universally does not like the show, does like the statement, the section where we talk about the origins of the film. So should we delve into the origins of this film, Inside Llewyn Davis, FT?
I wish I could. Could you?
Okay, go. No, your wish is granted.
I don't know. I said I wish I could.
Click your heels together 3 times.
That's not in a movie.
All right, so I can do it, but hopefully you can join in with some thoughts or questions or comments of your own.
Yes.
The Coen brothers are, in fact, brothers. It's not a marketing gimmick, and they grew up in the suburbs of Minneapolis, the great state of Minnesota, much like a figure that is important to this film, one Bob Dylan, a.k.a. Robert Zimmerman, another Jew from Minnesota, much like the Coen brothers are.
Yes.
Their parents were both university professors. The father taught economics. The mother taught art, which is an interesting encapsulation of the old art and commerce battle. Literally brought to life.
Yes.
And, they grew up much like you did, FT, taking in cinema through television. And in their case, they had cable TV. I forget, did you have cable TV or were you broadcast TV for your film education?
It was both. Cable came as a pilot study from Westinghouse Broadcasting to the hills, Allegheny Hills of Western PA. And nowhere else I knew of at the time. It was weird. It was really weird. Yeah. So I got Pittsburgh channels and 2 New York channels, PIX and WOR. Yeah. So
the Coens, through cable television, were immersing themselves in both worlds, and art cinema, like Fellini, was a favorite, no surprise. Yes, no surprise. But also B movies, which also should come as no surprise. And they, like so many directors, started making Super 8 films as kids. Joel, who's the older of the 2 brothers, went to film school at NYU and later at the University of Texas. Ethan, the younger brother, actually went to Princeton, where he studied philosophy. FT, interestingly enough, as we've talked about in this podcast, also studied philosophy. FT, with your knowledge of philosophy, if you had to guess what Ethan Coen's thesis was on, his thesis was on a philosopher.
Wittgenstein.
Bingo. See, I knew you start out slow, and then did you know that, or did you?
Yeah, I knew that.
Okay, you knew that.
Yeah.
And this is above my pay grade, but do you think Wittgenstein, and that's spelled with a W for those of you trying to look this up at home, do you see? And we can't go go deep into this rabbit hole. Do you sense the shadow of Wittgenstein in this film or the Coen's work?
No.
Really? Okay. Because there's been
he was a philosopher of language and a logician.
Right.
He invented truth tables and a bunch of stuff, and he had two distinct careers and two distinct movements.
Yes.
In his at most you could say that where we can since we can't speak clearly about matters of that are most important spiritual matters, don't say anything at all.
Much like our protagonist in this film, who refuses to speak of the matter of the death of his partner. So there may be some Wittgenstein in the baked into the cake here. But again, let's not go too far down that rabbit hole.
It's not going to work. It's not a rabbit hole. I hate rabbit holes. Why not? Why not a gopher hole? Yeah. Anyhow,
did you find it surprising that a Coen brother would have attended Princeton?
No.
I find it odd because again, being from New Jersey, where obviously Princeton is a pretty
elite,
stiff snoot. Yeah, snoot. It doesn't seem like a Coen brother would fit there. And alas, I found an article from the Alumni magazine that focused on this issue. And in fact, he was an outcast or did not fit in at Princeton. His roommate said he would spend hours on the phone with Joel, kicking around film ideas. No surprise. And then there was an interesting story. He wanted to take a leave of absence, which he did, and he neglected to
tell anybody.
Well, screwed up with the registrar. Right. So when he went to come back, they're like, "No, you didn't register. You're not ready. You can't come back." And Ethan then sent in a written excuse that he had lost. The reason he didn't register is that he had lost an arm in a hunting accident and provided a doctor's note to that effect. Nice. And they took him back to Princeton. Very Coen brothers in the sense that you would think it would have been easy for them to look at him and see that he had both of his arms, but also very Coen brothers like in the fact that he chose this as an excuse and had the doctor's note either from a doctor or forged. Joel, knowing that as soon as he showed up, they would see he had an arm. But apparently, it worked.
Yeah, because who's going to look?
Who's going to look at his arms?
He told the registrar that.
Yes, as we know, after you're an ass man, you don't look at people's arms.
Stop it! Oh, Jesus! Oh my God. You're an ass, man.
So again, kind of going with a theory that Coen as
jokesters, tricksters,
which again is a problem for any film people like ourselves trying to analyze their works.
Not so much, but it's tricky.
They decided. Joel had been working with Sam Raimi, who made a successful independent film called The Evil Dead, and inspired the Coen brothers to try to do their own independent film, which was to become Blood Simple. And it was a purely independent film. They filmed a trailer and then proceeded to take a projector and a film reel with that trailer they got a list of the 100 wealthiest Jews in Minnesota or Minneapolis, and they went from home to home pitching this film project. The final film has 165 investors credited.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, and so with all these small dollar investments, they did Blood Simple, which won the jury prize at Sundance and sent them on their way to success.
Early Sundance, right?
Yeah, very early.
Yeah, very early Sundance.
Yeah. And they went on to get a deal with the independent film distributor Ben Barenholtz, who had a company named Circle Films. And the deal they struck with Barinholtz had one key provision. Do you know what that provision was, FT?
Final cut.
Complete and total creative control.
Control, right.
Yeah. Apparently, the money was not the concern of the Coen's deal, but the complete creative control, and that's something they've maintained ever since throughout their career. They have complete and total control of their films.
Question, Ken. Did they have the script, or did they just do the trailer first? Good question.
I do not know the answer.
I have a sneaking suspicion they didn't have a full script.
Okay.
I have a sneaking suspicion, but I might be, it just rang a little bell. That's why I brought it up. But anyhow, could be wrong. Or I could be right. It's binary.
So, Blood Simple.
Yes.
They was the credits on that film, and each of their successive films up until The Lady Killers. Do you know how the credits read, FT?
Written and directed and produced by Joel and Ethan Coen.
No. Dude, you were on a roll, and then you take another run at that. You know the answer.
No. I don't know the answer to it. Don't tell me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no. Yeah. All their credits up until The Lady Killers, which I think was 2004. The credit was directed by Joel Coen.
Oh, produced by Ethan. Right.
Yeah, and this was because the DGA has a strict regulation that says one director, one film. And the reasons for this make sense. They don't want producers to horn in and try to get directors' credits. The director credit is singular. In 2004, they finally, after many films, were able to got a waiver from the DGA, and they were able to get. They started taking a unified director credit, written and directed by Joel and Ethan Coen.
I really got that one wrong. So wait, in practice, they co-directed. Isn't that correct?
Absolutely, in practice.
Yes.
From their collaborators. And by the way, they like to work with the same
people,
crew,
right.
Same people over and over, and they have throughout their career. Universally, the collaborators say they're of one mind. John Turturro said that call them a two-headed monster. And people say, if you're on set and you've got a question, well, what about this shirt? What about this light? You can just go to whichever brother happens to be closest and ask the question, and it's not
the right answer.
Well, yeah, it's not like then the other one shows up and says, "What the fuck?"
Right.
And it's interesting because it's a rare thing could you have directed with your brother? You have two brothers, do you not, FT?
Well, I'll show you how rare it is. No, it isn't. It's not rare because if you and I are disagreeing,
what?
No, if you and I were directing, I just disagreed with you. It is a rare thing.
Yeah,
they have collaborators with one conflict at least, or
No, I'm sorry. I think maybe we're talking past each other. I'm saying yes, having two directors seems like a recipe for conflict, but two siblings directing just seems like it would be a nightmare.
Maybe.
Well, that's why I asked you. Could you have directed with your brothers?
No, but they're not artistic types, So that didn't, it's a category mistake question.
Right.
They're not.
Yeah, no, and it's interesting because there are these brother director combos.
Yeah.
Most of them though do not have the longevity of the Coen brothers.
Right.
Name some other brother.
The Safdies are the one.
The Safdies who have now split up famously or infamously. Who else?
Infinitely. I thought you said infinitely. I don't know. Who else?
Well, who directed the Matrix trilogy?
I don't know, actually. I only saw the first one, actually.
The Wachowski brothers, who I guess now we should call maybe we need to call the Wachowski sisters. I'm not sure what the correct nomenclature is there.
Sisters would probably be correct.
Really?
I think so, right? I mean, you're implying. I don't know anything about these two artists. I don't know anything about them. So they changed genders, I take it.
Yes. So you're saying they should be called the Wachowski sisters now?
I think so. Yes.
So the Coen brothers method, do you want to talk quickly about it?
Yes. The one thing I do know is they eschew improvisation. Isn't that correct? They don't
yes,
like it.
Yes,
right.
very, very good, FT.
Stick to the script.
Yeah, well, it goes further than that, and make sure I come back to that. First of all, they write this. They always write their scripts together and they're actually in the room together in Billy Wilder I.L. Diamond tradition.
Right. One at the typewriter and one walking around.
Yeah. Then once the script is done and fully done, they work with a storyboard artist. They've worked with the same storyboard artist, Todd Anderson, since Raising Arizona. And they spend months on the storyboards. Anderson has said they spend basically the same amount of time on the storyboards as actually shooting the movie, and their storyboard process is exactly like somebody like David Fincher uses previs software. It's the camera angles, it's the camera lenses, it's everything. Right. Pre-visualized, and they basically bring the storyboard to life at the shoot. But to your point, FT, if you look at the script for Inside Llewyn Davis, you could say there's not one word change, not one shot change. It's the script is what is the film, and I think that's significant for us sitting here today trying to really break down the film, because again, there's no mistakes. Everything that's in there was worked on for years and years and years.
That wasn't my take, but I think there's minor changes. I think things always happen when you're making the film.
Oh yeah.
I mean, some of the things in the script will change. It's not, but I didn't read the whole script, but anyhow.
Yeah, I do, and I think they talk about that too. When I've listened to them talking about it, you walk on. Actually, I'm gonna walk that back because
Yes.
they've talked about you have it, but then you walk on set and things look different,
totally different, right?
But yeah, but I forget who talked about it. Maybe I think it was Roger Deakins, their longtime cinematographer, not for this film, talked about. They'll show up on set and then he's always blown away by they'll work with the actors on the set. And he's always blown away because the actors basically go right to where they were in these storyboards, kind of on their own.
Wow.
Yeah. So coming back to Inside Llewyn Davis, this film was released. Well, what film did this follow in the Coen Brothers filmography?
I forgot to look it up. The last thing I was going to do, I was like, damn it, I forgot. Yeah.
Did you lose an arm in a hunting accident?
No, which one was it? It was Buster Scruggs Comes Next, right?
Yep.
But the one before was, True Grit, maybe?
Yep, you got it.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, right. Both I thought were more recent than what they are, also. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it was interesting. This came out, this was 3 years after True Grit, and it was one of the longest gestation periods of any project. They were banging out films basically every year for their whole career. And I think the Lady Killers
killed them.
No, I think the Lady Killers was another one where they had a few years between projects. But this one they worked on for 3 years, and shot it in New York City, where they live. By the way, they also have I don't know if they both do, but I think Joel and Francis, it's Joel and Francis have a house here in Bolinas, California, out on the coast. But
they have one up here. They also have one up here in the Mid-Hudson Valley too. Yeah. Joel and Francis?
Yes.
Francis was seen at the ShopRite, as we call it. Yes.
Because there's only one. Do you know what they call the ShopRite in Germany, FT?
The ShopRite.
Das ShopRite.
Der ShopRite. Right.
So this is the first film they shot in New York City, even though they've lived there, which is kind of interesting. And it started with a simple. It started with an idea. Apparently they have lots of ideas. Some of them work out, some of them don't. And the idea was, what if Dave Van Ronk? Is it Dave Van or Van?
Van.
Yeah, what if Dave Van Ronk, a folk singer, got beat up in the alley behind Gertie's Folk City in New York City in 1961? That was the idea. And as I would probably react if you came up with that idea, I would say, okay, then what? And have no answer to that, and it would go into the drawer. And that's what happened with this. It went into the drawer. It kept coming out of the drawer. What happens? Why is he beat up? And finally, they answered those questions and wrote a script. And then they sent the script, since it was a music. Obviously, it's about music, and they'd collaborated in the past, and most famously with on "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?" With the music producer T-Bone Burnett. So the first thing they did was sent the script to T-Bone Burnett to work out the music ideas. T-Bone liked the script, worked on it with them. They developed it. It was a project, and it came to a screeching halt because of a problem. FT, can you guess what that problem was?
No.
Well, I'm saying guess.
They couldn't get Justin Timberlake.
No, but close. You're on the right track. They could not cast Llewyn Davis. Yeah, because they needed since the idea for the film was not, we'll have somebody. They didn't want somebody limp syncing.
Nope.
They wanted somebody actually performing.
Yes.
They needed an actor who could sing and play guitar.
Yeah. Wow.
Because of how much it leans on the musical performance, they said we should cast a musician, and then they can act. But they found out, and there was an interview with the Coens where, again, they said, they found these musicians, and then they'd get them in to read a dramatic scene, and then they're like, wow, these actors really do something, because the musicians couldn't pull off the acting needed for the dramatic roles. And then along came one Oscar Isaac.
Well, and they had constraints too. I mean, he had to look Jewish or Italian or,
right,
wasn't it?
Or like a flamenco dancer,
as they said. Right.
What's this?
It's my guitar.
Sure, move in. Don't mind me. Make yourself at home.
What are you, a flamenco dancer?
What's your name, Pablo?
Llewyn Davis.
What's the N stand for?
What?
What's the N stand for? Lou and Davis.
Llewyn, Llewyn. It's Welsh.
Well, it would have to be something stupid fucking name like that. You don't look Welsh.
My mother was Italian.
Holy Jesus, what is that thing?
It's my cat.
Is that part of your act?
No,
What'd you say you played?
folk songs.
Folk songs. Thought you said you were a musician. Folk singer with
in terms of the looks, but really,
He blew my mind.
well, I mean, I think they could have if they had found a musician who could act, who was not did not look so ethnic, they probably could have gone. They just couldn't find anybody. And then Oscar Isaac came along. Oscar Isaac had been a musician. He had played in some bands, but then went to Juilliard for acting, and gave up singing to study acting at Juilliard, which is interesting because so many people think of Juilliard as a music school.
Which it also is.
Yes.
Yes.
FT.
Yes.
Let me ask you a question. This is not a simple question. It will require some thought on your part, and really give me an answer. Give me an answer from inside, FT Kasempa.
Okay. From inside. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What genre do you think this film belongs to?
Jesus, you always hit me with these questions.
Well, and you get this every episode, so you should be ready.
It's a music film. I think I read somewhere somebody called it a comedy drama.
Yeah.
I mean, it's stupid. I think it's a drama with a musical element. With songs. What do you think it is?
I think it's a horror movie. I think it's I'd say clearly it's a horror film about a character who has a curse put on him by a Santeria worshiper.
Chanopozo.
Right, for people who missed it, that Roland Turner, as played by John Goodman, who invokes this Santeria thing, brings up the character the person you just mentioned. Say it again, FT.
Chanopozo.
Yeah.
Percussionist, Afro-Cuban musician.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Oh, and sorry, and a practitioner of Santeria?
Yes.
Here,
Cowboy chords. This would interest you. There's this act I saw in Montreux, Switzerland. A bass, piano, and a sound.
Hey, Mr. Turner, I'm wondering,
Huh?
would that cane fit all the way up your ass? Or would a little bit stay sticking out?
Okay. Except threats and intimidation won't work with me. You want to know why? This would interest you. I studied Santeria and certain other things that squares like you would call the black arts due to lack of understanding from Chano Pozo in New Orleans. You say you'll mess me up? I don't have to make those childish threats. I do my thing, and one day you wake up wondering, why do I have this pain in my side? Or maybe it won't even be that specific. Maybe it's why is nothing going right for me? My life is a big bowl of shit. I don't remember making this big bowl of shit.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Good one, FT. Good one, FT. No, actually, it's not a traditional genre that you would learn in screenwriting class because I think we have to say, and it was a little bit of an unfair question for you, FT. I think this film does not clearly belong to a genre, and I think the Coens always try to work that way. They want to break genres, not fulfill genres, which they have the liberty to do because of their track record, while the rest of us have to work with genres to get something even on the road to production. And so I would say, though, this, while not a clear genre in the traditional sense, the first thing I was going to say, it really feels more like a more literary, more like a novel than it does like a film genre. And in literature, there's a genre, the picaresque.
Yeah. All right. Work this one for me.
So you're not buying picaresque?
I don't know. I don't know what that means in this context.
Okay. So helpfully I printed something out here, a definition, and I'll read you the definition, and you'll say, oh, yeah, I think that fits then. Okay. Here we go. I will read from something I pulled, I think Merriam-Webster's, I think is where I pulled this from. Is Merriam-Webster a woman, or was it two last names?
I think it's two last names, isn't it?
I think so. Sorry.
Yeah.
All right. Picaresque. Picaresque films are cinematic adaptations. Oh, so this is actually picaresque films. So
I could answer this now.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I can't.
Okay.
It's just like
picaresque films are cinematic adaptations of the classic literary genre. They feature a roguish, lower-class protagonist who wanders through a corrupt society, relying on their wits, charm, and street smarts rather than traditional heroism. Instead of a single continuous narrative, the story unfolds through a loose, episodic series of adventures.
Huh.
Fits pretty good. Fits like a glove, wouldn't you say?
Interesting.
Fits like a pair of galoshes.
You know what interesting? They use the word hero.
Yeah.
And through a series of adventures, because,
Right.
I at one point I thought, you know what the subtitle of this film should be?
What?
The Anti-Hero with One Face. Playing with Joseph Campbell, obviously, with the hero of 1,000 faces.
Yeah.
Going through situations, tests, strife, but really not having a spiritual awakening, interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Which is why you can't really call it a character study. Usually in character studies, the character, and in most dramatic pieces, the character has an arc. You can't really say that for Llewyn. In fact, the film very pointedly shows that he comes full circle in terms of the structure. But we're gonna, and that was a good observation, FT, about
Thank you.
The
anti-hero of the one face, right?
Clearly, in dramatic shorthand, he is the protagonist, he is the hero, but he is not very heroic. But we're going to come back to that a little bit more as we move on. So I think that was a good take on your part, FT.
On the other hand, one other thing. Structurally, though, what also struck me watching this the third time was that it's a little bit like, what's the Elvis movie that Curtiz did?
Right. Yeah.
It was King Creole, I think it was, wasn't it? Yeah. I mean, it is a movie where there's dramatic bits and then there's a song. Dramatic bit, so there's a song.
Right.
And instead of it being one star like Elvis Presley, who was a performer that could he act? No, but it struck me structurally a little bit borrowed from that. But it's different here.
Yes.
I mean, it's more sophisticated, well done.
Right.
In my book.
Yes. So, FT, I feel like there's something we need to deal with here because it seems to come up with any discussion of this film or a previous Coen Brothers music film, "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?" And that is the connection to Homer and the Odyssey.
Okay.
And like I said,
The sin connection.
it's kind of obligatory here, and I do have some thoughts on this. Any first thoughts from you from inside FT Cosempa?
That it's really very, very, very thin for me, the connection.
Okay.
You know, I mean, there's no underworld. Maybe
no, there is.
there
Okay,
is.
well,
What,
yeah.
Roland Turner's The Underworld?
Well, he and again, I'm not a classic scholar, so
Neither of us are.
I have to be careful where I tread here. But yes, the trip to Chicago is parallels to the trip to the underworld. And remember what the nightclub that he goes to. What is the name of it? FT.
The Gate of Horn.
Okay. And the Gate of Horn in the Odyssey is in the Odyssey because there's off the top of my head, there's two gates mentioned in the Odyssey. I don't have the quote. There's a Gate of Horn and a Gate of Ivory.
Right.
And the Gate of Horn is the Gate of Truth, where you go to find the truth. The Gate of Ivory is the gate of false dreams. Sorry, any classic scholars out there, please feel free to write in. And of course,
Dreams fulfilled. Dreams fulfilled.
Yeah, dreams. Okay, good. And of course, Llewyn goes to the Gate of Horn and learns the truth, which he probably does not want to hear.
Right.
Lay cold as a stone. Lay cold as a stone.
I don't see a lot of money here.
Okay, so that's it.
You're okay. You're not green.
But I don't have what, say, Troy Nelson has.
You know Troy? A good kid. He connects with people. Look, I'm putting together a trio, 2 guys and a girl singer. You're no front guy, but if you can cut that down to a goatee, stay out of the sun, we might see how your voice works with the other 2. You comfortable with harmonies?
No. Yes, but, no. No, I had a partner.
Well, that makes sense. My suggestion? Get back together.
That's good advice. Thank you, Mr. Grossman.
So Bud Grossman, you could see as kind of plays the role of the sirens in the Odyssey, the truth tellers, and so there are parallels to the Odyssey. But anything else you want to throw out, FT, before we parse this down a little further and try to dig in here?
You mean on the parallels with the Odyssey?
The Odyssey, yeah. That's what we're talking
Just
about. As much as you don't want to.
You know, the weird one, the weird one about the sexuality of the cat. And this is a subtle one, because,
really? This is news to me. Go for it.
Yeah, when he's in the underworld, one of the less shadowy figures is, I think, let me look it up here, hold it. Laertes. But the interesting thing about this character is that when he comes across 2 snakes mating, he kills the male snake, and he instantly becomes a female. And he's a female for 7 years.
Oh.
And then he comes across, again, 2 snakes mating, and he kills the female snake, and he becomes a male again. So I found that interesting with the gender business with the the cat, that Llewyn thinks he has the cat, and
Well, she doesn't have to leave. I'm leaving, obviously. Sorry I fucked up your evening. Thank you for the moussaka.
This is not our cat.
What? Of course that's your cat.
Oh my God.
It's not even male. Where's its scrotum? Llewyn? Where's its scrotum?
And the other connection, of course, is, at the end, the Disney movie, what is it, The Fantastic Journey?
Yeah.
Which is, again, within this, vaguely Odyssean tale, is another tale of the Odyssey, with the cat and the two dogs.
Right.
Good one. The Disney film. Yeah.
Right. That was a good catch.
Yes.
What we have to confront here, though, is the Coen brothers. They have been asked about the Odyssey Homer connection in this film and in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? And again, they're pranksters. They've denied that they've ever read the Odyssey, and they've made two comments at different times. One was they haven't really read it, but they left it on their night table, was one comment that they gave to the press.
We referenced that in the past.
Yeah.
Yes.
And another comment that they gave was that they hadn't read the book, but they had read the comic book version of it.
Nice.
And again, but I don't know, the Coens being the Coens, I don't know if we can take that at face value. If we can't take it at face value, there's some historical interest here in that, as you may remember, Ulysses, in the Homer original Greek, the character's name is Odysseus.
Yes.
In Dante, when he appears in Dante's The Divine Comedy, the Latin name, he takes a Latin name, which, again, significant to this film, is Ulysses.
Yes.
But again, there's some historical consonance in this, in that Dante never read the Odyssey when he put Ulysses into the Divine Comedy.
Huh.
I think piece of language, or just wasn't, for whatever reason, he had heard, it was kind of almost like a folk song passed down orally. He had heard of Ulysses, but there was no direct reading, much as the Coens are claiming here. I guess, though, what I'd like to say, and I'll transition here next with a quote from the Coens, if I can pull it out here. Here's the quote. After a screening of the film at the New York Film Festival, someone, of course, asked Joel and Ethan about the meaning of Ulysses, the cat in the film. One of the brothers deadpanned, quote, "We wanted to make an Odyssey where the hero doesn't go anywhere."
Huh.
So that you touched on that.
Yeah, anti-hero with one face, yeah.
So here is my thought on this, and it's going to tie into something we're about to talk about. If they were channeling the Odyssey, they weren't channeling so much Homer's version. They were channeling another version. FT, can you name that version?
No, not at all.
Yeah, they were channeling James Joyce's version of the Odyssey, which was called what?
Ulysses?
Yeah, that was, again, the name of the cat in this film. Yeah.
Huh.
You may ask, well, Ken, what makes you think that?
What makes you think that, Ken? Yes.
And I will say you thought it, and you hit on it really first, where you said, well, it's the hero. Well, how did you, the hero with the anti-hero? You said the
anti-hero with
right.
one face. Right.
And of course, that's what James Joyce did with Ulysses. His hero Leopold Bloom,
right.
Was again reduced to was an ad salesman wandering around one day in Dublin to buy a kidney, and again takes the heroism down to the commonplace. But I can point out, if you want me to, some other similarities between what Joyce did in Ulysses. And again, the cat, they could have named the cat in this film Odysseus or Adi, or they named him Ulysses. And if you remember Ulysses at all, the first chapter where we meet the protagonist, Leopold Bloom, what's the first thing, when we meet him, what's the first thing he's doing in the novel, FT?
I don't remember.
He kneels down to come face to face and contemplate his cat.
Really?
Yeah, much like the way we meet. Again, we see Llewyn sing, but really the first time we see him is the morning where he's face to face with a cat.
Oh, right, on his chest.
Yeah, just like Leopold Bloom is in Ulysses. Yes, I mean, so there's the cat again. Bloom's Odyssey is just covering a few square miles in Dublin. Llewyn's is really just New York City, except for the interlude to Chicago. Both characters, Leopold Bloom and Llewyn Davis, are dealing with these dead characters they can't leave behind. Llewyn is dealing with Mike Timlin, right? And Leopold Bloom is dealing with the death of his son Rudy.
Okay.
So I think really they were working more from the Joycean treatment of the Odyssey than the Homer tradition,
which is pretty weird. So you're not going to read.
What?
You're not going to read the translation of the Greek. You're going to read Joyce's novel instead.
Well, well, first of all, saying they never read it. Again, somebody going to Princeton. I don't know if they never read.
No, I agree.
I would lay money on this. Yeah. Somebody at Princeton read James Joyce's Ulysses.
Yeah, or one of the commentaries.
The Cliff Notes.
I mean, to get the whole. Yeah. Well, something like that. I mean, there's much literature on it. All I remember is like Buck Mulligan and Daedalus is in that. Stephen Daedalus. Huh. Interesting.
Yeah. There's another, I'm sure there's more, but another Ulysses, James Joyce Ulysses connection that jumped out at me. But again, it gets back to the way Joyce was retelling the Odyssey and making it the anti-heroic thing. So in Homer's The Odyssey, of course, central to the story is the battle with the giant, the Cyclops. Yeah, I think his name is Polyphemus, which takes place in a cave. And by the way, when if you're not a student of Joyce and you think, I'm making these connections between Homer, the Odyssey, and Ulysses, I'm not. They're explicit in Joyce. The chapter titles are titled after the sections from the Odyssey. So the battle with the Cyclops giant in Joyce gets turned into Leopold Bloom getting into a fight in a pub with a kind of loudmouth giant who throws a biscuit tin at his head. And in Inside Llewyn Davis, it's transformed into a fight in an alley. Sorry, the original in the Odyssey takes place in a cave. Now we're in an alley where a giant beats the crap out of Llewyn Davis.
Right, who I thought was Ed Harris.
Yes. Was it Ed Harris? Were you able to find out?
I wasn't able to find out. No, but it's interesting. What I noted when I watched that, I said an underworld figure. He's really in shadow.
Yeah.
You just see one glimpse of his face. It looked and sounded like Ed Harris to me, but
Yeah, no, and I think the issue was if you show his face, is he going to have one eye like the Cyclops? So they just don't show his face. Yeah.
And you did study Ulysses, right, Ken? At one point as an undergrad.
Yeah, it's kind of embarrassed to say when I was a young undergraduate student, I found my way into a graduate Joyce seminar at the University of Massachusetts with one of the leading Joyce scholars in the country. So painstaking study of Ulysses, as well as I think everything Joyce wrote. And I'm embarrassed to say I really don't remember really much of any of it at this point, but it's coming back to me with this film and this discussion. Let's turn the page here a little bit to use,
so to speak.
Use a literary term.
Yes.
FT.
Yes.
What do you think the theme of Inside Llewyn Davis is? And again, give it to me from inside. I want to hear it from inside FT Kasempa.
You know what I think the theme is?
What, FT?
It's the downside of living in the present moment.
Wow. Well, tell me more.
Because if you're living in the present moment, if your present moment is one of self-absorption,
okay,
or if it's one that's concerned with unresolved grieving for the deaths, then all kinds of unwanted things can happen to you. and all kinds of like you can sabotage yourself like crazy, or bad things can happen, or mistakes, bad chances, bad choices taken, blah blah blah. That's that on top of what I said before, that it is the anti-hero with one face, that he goes through all these trials in the typical monomyth, but comes out what? Absolutely not absolutely, pretty much unchanged, with no spiritual awakening.
Right.
So.
Do you ever think about the future at all?
The future? You mean like flying cars? Hotels on the moon? Tang?
And this is why you're fucked.
No, it's why you're fucked. You're just trying to blueprint a future. Move to the suburbs with Jim, have kids.
That's bad.
If that's what music is for you, a way to get to that place, then yeah, it's a little careerist. And it's a little square. And it's a little sad.
I'm sad? You're the one who's not getting anywhere. You don't want to get anywhere. Me and Jim try.
I want to.
We try. You sleep on the couch.
It's a bad thing to throw in my face, man.
You don't want to go anywhere. And that's why all the same shit is going to keep happening to you, because you want it to.
Is that why?
Yes, and also because you're an asshole who sleeps with other people's women. Let's not forget that.
Well, you're being pretty kind to yourself now, aren't you?
Well, whose couch are you on tonight?
I told you, Al Cody's. You don't listen.
Anyhow, yeah. So, Ken, the theme, according to you, what do you think's going on here in Inside Llewyn Davis?
Yeah, I feel like I came up with a theme that really, as the dude might say, I think really pulls the whole film together. Sorry, I had to do that. Sorry.
Yes.
And I think it can be best stated with a quote that's been misattributed to Pablo Picasso. I don't think he actually said it. You're probably familiar with it. And that quote is, "Good artists copy, great artists steal." You've heard that before, FT?
No.
And basically, the idea behind that, if I can spell it out, is that a true artist doesn't just imitate existing styles or works. They digest multiple influences and remix them. Does that remind you of anybody, FT?
Picasso.
The Coen brothers, maybe?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Although they didn't steal any African art. But anyhow.
So I think really the theme of this, and it's tough, and it takes multiple viewings.
Yes.
The central theme here is about the difference between an artist who just inherits something and someone who really authors it. And the specific trap of being talented enough to perform something perfectly, as Llewyn does. And basically in this film, he keeps performing the same songs forever, kind of in the same way, without them ever becoming his, without authorship. And again, I think this case is made clear by what happens in the penultimate scene where we see Bob Dylan take the stage. And that, we can look at that for, folk music, where there was a folk music scene before Dylan arrived where they would slavishly, perform these old Americana rural songs that ironically had nothing to do with, the irony of, the Al Cody figure, who was based on Rambling Jack Elliott. We saw that Al Cody, we see his mail arrive. He's really Arthur Milgram from Short Hills, New Jersey, but he's this, country dude singing country songs.
5 and 20 questions. Yeah.
Yeah, 4 and 20.
Yeah, 4 and 20, whatever.
Yeah. So the inauthenticity of it, and that's what the scene was. That's what Llewyn Davis does. And I can take that further. I think it's really pointed out by, the song that he sings twice, the song Ding Song. There's an irony. I think the irony of this whole point is driven home by, again, the Ding Song, the lyrics, it starts out, "If I had wings," right?
Yes.
When Timlin and Davis perform that song, which is when at the beginning of the film, when the cat he puts on the Timlin and Davis out, the record. Do you know the name of the record, FT? The title of the album.
No, I didn't read it.
The title of the album is "If We Had Wings."
If we had wings, we could fly.
But but Llewyn puts the needle to the record and listens to it, and it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous because we hear in duo the two of them sing "If I Had Wings."
Really?
Yeah, where logically,
wow.
which logically, they changed it, or the record company, or the record. I was going to say the record company, who would be Mel, the coat giver. They knew enough. Yeah, it's got to be called "If We Had Wings." But what's crazy is they're singing it in unison.
Right.
And they're singing "If I Had Wings," refusing to evolve it. And what Dylan did, especially, and we'll get back, the song at the end of the movie is Dylan singing "Farewell," which was a traditional English folk song that he just adapted and changed and got the copyright for it, and it was his song. It's interesting, Dylan on the second album, which I think was Free Willin' Bob Dylan, which this film took its whole look from that album cover. I think the first song was "Girl from the North Country." Now that song was a
traditional, right?
Yeah, it was a Martin Carthy song, "Scarborough Fair," and Dylan just took the melody and basically the refrain, "Please remember me to the one who lives there." He put that in "Girl from the North Country." That's in "Scarborough Fair," but he changed just about everything, or changed enough where it's, most people don't even link the two songs, and it's his copyright and his song. And again, Llewyn refused to do that. He was just an imitator. Another point I could bring up, if I may, that I think again unifies this whole thesis of what the theme is, that I think pulls the whole thing together, as the dude would say, is that there's a meta dimension to this, in that the Coens looking to James Joyce's Ulysses is kind of Joyce was doing to the Odyssey what this whole kind of theme is about. He took a work and transformed it. He used the Odyssey as a scaffolding for a completely new work, like what Dylan does in his songwriting, but unlike what Llewyn Davis does, where he's just faithfully performing the works that he's other people's works.
Performing the works, yes.
Yeah.
Already written works. We don't know how faithful the sound is and the arrangement is, but right, and the chord changes,
Yes.
But, yeah. Okay.
So the end of the movie, Dylan appearing on stage, is literally the end of, spells the end for Llewyn Davis and so many performers in that scene like Llewyn Davis. Dylan both became the star of that scene and the end of that scene, as he transformed it again into original works rather than just historical works and big record deals and concerts to follow. And you could see it because just think, think beyond the film. Let's say you were somebody going to the Gaslight to see Llewyn Davis, and now Bob Dylan is on the scene, right? And now you, hey, what are we going to do tonight, honey? Llewyn Davis is at the Gaslight, and Bob Dylan's at Gertie's Folk City. Where do you want to go? And your wife would say, "Yeah, is Llewyn Davis going to do Hang Me, Oh Hang Me again?" Yeah, and you would say, "Well, probably," but I heard Dylan's got this new song. It's about what happens. Ask how many roads must a man walk down, and the woman would say, "I want to go there." I've always wanted to know how many roads a man must walk down before you can call him a man.
You're a natural. That's the story. What is interesting? Dylan's first record is mostly covers except two originals. Right?
Is it only two?
Yeah, it's only two.
You sure about that?
Yeah, I'm positive about it. There's a New York, something New York, and a song for Woody. Which summarizes that whole period of his imitation period of Woody. Right. But then the second record is all originals, even including that Airsats one that you mentioned, Girl from the North Country. But famous stuff then, yeah. And interesting that of all the other folk musicians, he gets at Columbia. Not Folkways, not these little dinky Vanguard, the small labels, the traditional labels. He got in at Columbia.
Yes.
For the first record in his documentary, the Marty's. He says,
Frank.
Marty Scorsese's, what's in that? No Direction Home?
No Direction Home,
Yeah. He even says that when he when the record was cut, he goes, I don't even know why I did those songs. It was just like I would have done something different. That's what
why he did the songs
why he covered the songs that he covered.
Okay.
Like for example, House of the Rising Sun, a Dave Van Ronk song.
Did Dave Van Ronk wrote? No, that was a traditional.
That's a traditional that but he made it famous. But
Right.
Dave Van Ronk said that every time he started playing House of the Rising Sun, people went like, "Oh, you're doing Dylan's song." And then years later, Dylan said to him, when was it the Animals?
Yes.
When they covered it, everybody goes, "Oh, you're just doing the Animals song," and Dave and Bobby, as he called them, laughed. Yeah, which is a good one, right? Yeah.
Yeah. No, and clearly, I think the reason that the first Dylan album was, again, these traditional folk songs is that's where the market was. That's where people wanted to hear it. But again, Dylan, like the true, again, if the theme of this film is about a true artist transforming and not just mimicking, Dylan transformed it and changed folk music. Let's talk about the Cats, shall we?
Yes.
Question for you, FT. Is this the greatest cat movie ever?
I don't know. I never saw Fantastic Adventure, whatever that is. I don't know.
Yeah, you don't have to answer. That was a kind of a rhetorical question, unless you have an answer. I think it is. Okay. But here's the next question. Do you think the cat is a doppelganger for Llewyn?
There's a great line in the movie when he's calling up from the elevated, right? Talking to Gorfines, and the secretary goes,
Sociology.
Professor Gorfine, please.
He's in a lecture now. Can I take a message?
Yeah, could you just tell him, don't worry, Llewyn has the cat.
Llewyn is the cat.
No, Llewyn has the cat. I'm Llewyn, I have his cat.
Llewyn is the cat.
Yes. And again, you have to accept that the Coen brothers don't have any lines in mistakes. They've been, everything is precise. So yes, that's the first clue. Llewyn is the cat. That the Coen brothers might want us to think of these parallels. The second clue is when he first goes to Gene's apartment, he doesn't go in through. He goes up the fire escape to enter Gene's apartment, the same fire escape that the cat then goes down. So again, a lot of shots where Llewyn and the cat are mirrored in windows and looking at each other. So I think it's very deliberate. The cat is doppelganger.
Getting one thought I had with that scene when he brings the cat.
Sorry, what scene?
When he brings the cat to Gene and Jim's apartment, is that he sets the cat down on the floor and pours a dish of milk, right?
Yes,
the common thing that you see,
and what Leopold does in Ulysses,
right? As you said before, right? So it's picking.
Well, I never mentioned the milk until now.
You didn't?
No,
face to face only, right? But anyhow, a week before I'd finally watched the Truffaut film. I watched a film called Day for Night.
Yes.
And it's a movie about making movies,
Yes.
And in there's a whole big deal. There's a whole sequence about not getting the cat unable to go to the dish to eat. It's like 50 takes. And so when I, being informed with that, when I saw this, I'm like, wow, I wonder how many takes it took those guys to get the cat to go to the milk,
Right.
Just a little meta, observation. Yes.
Yeah, no, there's a story I read somewhere about the rule is never work with children or animals.
Cats.
Yes, cats being the worst, dogs can be trained much better than cats. Cats have their own mind. So that's why they had 3 cats. If I can remember, there was, one cat who was cool, was cooler on like subways and stuff. There was one cat who would walk from point A and so it would deploy the cats accordingly. What?
You just reminded me of something that also struck me. The cat on the subway.
Yes.
I always wondered why, they put that in there. It's a cool shot. I've seen that on the IRT when I lived in New York. You go down to subway stations. But what finally dawned on me was it's shots of the cat watching out the window.
Yes.
Right? You remember
not Llewyn. Yeah,
right.
Not Llewyn.
And guess what? Is he memorizing his way back home?
Yeah, I think that's
the implication.
I mean, again,
I didn't get that until like the last time.
Well, there's something that has to be said about this film, and it's funny not funny at all. Only funny in a
I'm laughing.
Only funny in a Ulysses Joyce graduate symposium sense of funny. It's a big deal in Ulysses. He Ulysses brings up the term so many times. I think it's called retrospective analysis. He keeps planting these seeds that Ulysses, the book, will only really be understood after you've finished it, and that's true.
Right.
This film works clearly the same way because, again, you see the scene at the beginning. Why is the guy getting beat up in the alley at the end? It comes back to it. But more than that, it is clearly a film that rewards and demands multiple viewings.
Yeah, and especially when you ask, like, it's a cool shot, but it's not just a cool shot of the trains. It's a shot that has some significance,
Well, no, I was going to say it does double work.
Huh.
Again, it points out the dichotomy between, again, if they're doppelgangers, there's also contrast between them. And again, this lack of self-awareness. Llewyn, it's the cat who's interested in the world. Llewyn is absorbed in himself.
Okay, yeah, all right.
So the cat, though, it's also interesting. It seems like the Coen brothers are making a jab at a popular screenwriting book, a screenwriting book that, like most screenwriting books, that kind of offers itself as a template, how to write a screenplay. Read this book, you'll know how to write a screenplay. And that book was called Save the Cat by Blake Snyder.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I never heard of that book. Huh, interesting.
Yeah, no, and that's kind of the central thesis is, the key thing is, when you meet your hero, again, Snyder uses the term hero for protagonist, again, relevant to this discussion. When you meet the hero needs to take an action that defines the character. Right. And we see that a lot. You've probably heard the phrase kick the dog, the bad guy will kick the dog.
Right.
The hero should save the cat, which Llewyn is trying his best to do.
I have one other observation about the cat, which is revealing of character of Llewyn.
Okay.
Yes. What's interesting is it shows, again, his self-absorption, right, his lack of self-awareness. He's a sort of solipsist. And what I mean is that for him, any yellow tabby cat is his yellow tabby cat.
Right.
I mean, when you really think about that oddball scene at Cafe Reggio, when he jumps out after Jenner having that interesting discussion about, two kinds of people in the world, he goes, there it is.
Oh, God damn it. I am one lucky bastard. Thanks for suggesting this place. Poor thing couldn't have eaten since yesterday. It's a damn house cat. Here you go. Do you know its name? I can't remember its name.
I don't know its name. I don't hang out with the Gorfines.
Oh, good kitty. Jesus, thank God. Well, where were we?
You were calling me a careerist, and I was calling you a loser.
Right, well, those are your categories.
No, those are your categories.
In my experience, the world's divided into two kinds of people. Those who divide the world into two kinds of people.
And losers?
And for him to think this in New York City was astonishing to me. And I'm like,
yes.
So he just thinks that, any cat that is, is his cat. And without looking at the sex, he wouldn't even give a shit about, know.
But, and of course, the great line of dialogue there is, when Gene says to, that's what you're worried about, the cat,
Right. And he says, actually, what a lucky, I am such a lucky fuck, whatever he says, remember? And he's not, ironically.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Again, the lack of self, the irony there. Technical side note, that shot when he chases the cat, 100 feet of 100-foot dolly track with, and they said the dolly grip was a marathon runner to be able to push it fast enough to chase the cat.
That's pretty quick. Huh?
Yeah.
Jeez.
We let's talk about another cat that apparently is
a cool cat.
A cat that apparently seems to have an important place in the to the Coen brothers. Another famous cat. Can you name the cat, FT?
No.
Sorry, I'll give you a hint. A cat that is mentioned and has a role in another Coen brothers film, A Serious Man.
I don't remember. Help me out here. I just saw that too.
Really?
You mean a feline?
Yeah.
A kitty cat.
Yes.
Huh. Interesting.
And we're going to have to end part 1 of this 2-part episode with that cliffhanger. Tune in next time where we'll reveal the identity of the cat in question. See if you can figure out the correct answer. Even more importantly, tune in to find out if FT will figure out the correct answer. In part 2, we'll get into the real-life people who inspired the characters of Inside Llewyn Davis. We'll take a look at some of Llewyn's choices and see what they reveal about his character. And we'll also discuss the cinematography of the film. If you want to get part 2 as soon as it drops, make sure you're following the podcast in your podcast player of choice. It's free, it's easy to do, and it's the best way to make sure you never miss an episode. I want to thank everybody for listening. FT and I will catch you next time, right here on They Shoot Films.
They Shoot Films is a production of Film Symposium West, produced by Anne-Marie De Palma, studio announcer Roy Blumenfeld.